wonderful glitch in the mechanical operation of the plane that I was supposed to be on right now, we get to record and be present and share with you all that all the amazingness that happened this past week. And any of you who want to chime in, there are 3 available seats because we're sharing a real living room. And Mohammed, when we ask people to join, please just let us know what you want to talk about, and then we can unlock the seat if you want to be part of the conversation about video games and engaging youth in creating solutions for and with themselves. So can you kind of answer a question like that? Like, what do you want to talk about if you were to grab a seat? So thank you all for joining us. I'm gonna hit no, we've already hit record. So well, welcome so very much. And Mohammed, I see you've called in. Please let us know, like, I'll just be really transparent. Wonderful. Yeah. Welcome on board. And I'm just going to share a few updates before we open the seats, because I feel like it's just important. Oh, wonderful. It's great to know that you're a student in MIT. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll share a few updates and then we'll open a conversation. So today's topic, when we go into conversation mode, is going to be all about how to engage youth in the conversation. And some of the conversations we've had this week have been so eye-opening. And so I'll just share a little bit that we've met with so many different beings and organizations on this planet, and it's crystal clear that it's time for what we're doing, and the Game Changer movement is really, really present. So as great as the energy is felt, I'm going to be a little bit more general about the updates, because we haven't had any firm yeses, so I don't want to in essence jinx the energy, but I also want to say that the Game Changer movement has been really well received. And what we've noticed most is that when people have children, that's really where it's at. So that's where most of the support comes in, or the understanding really comes in, is that especially if you have male children, for some reason, it sinks in that the Game Changer movement is onto something that we're tapping into. And Mohammed, please call in a second. So I'll just I'll just share the update. Like, we have been in 5 countries in 4 days, including Belgium. And now the follow-up is starting. So we went to the US Embassy last Tuesday evening, less than a week ago. And already people are following up and ecstatic about what we're about. And so there are, oh, I'm sorry, Mohammed. Well, let me click on letting you in and see how it works. And then if the connection is bad, then we can communicate on the side if that works. How does that sound? So we'll keep on sharing the update as Mohammed comes on, or his connection doesn't work. But we really want to welcome all comers, all people who want to take part in this conversation, because this is more about collaboration than anything else. And so starting with Tuesday, I mean, our last blab was last Monday before any of this happened. And then, through so many of Carol's family connections, we were able to just kind of walk into places that not many humans get to walk into with the level of ease that was presented to us. So thank you so much, Carol. It's been awesome traveling this continent with you. Hello. And I just, what does it feel like for you?
Well, for me, it's our mission. Hello. And it just seems like we're connecting to the right people, and they're on board.
Mm-hmm.
You hear me?
Not very well.
No. Do you
You
hear
want
me?
to talk? Not very well. And I can't see you.
But I have a problems in my in connection, please.
Gotcha.
So, so let me we talk about your subject, game changer movement, virtual living room. I have more information. I will to give them to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it on the side, or do you want to talk about it in the blab? Because I can't hear you altogether too well.
Can you tell me about little about your subject and what do you want of me?
Of you? Well, I mean, what we want of anyone is to bring their time, talent, or treasure to the table. I guess that's a lot of T's.
Yes. I have understood you what you said to me. Yes.
So so we're our the global vision of our movement is to inspire and build a community of at least 1 million youth who wish to change their game. And for some of the youth, it means trading in a violent video game that we then cut into pieces and turn into mosaic art. And for other youth who may or may not be playing violent video games, it means participating in the creation process of the new line of games that we want to create with, as opposed to for, our youth. And that process is ongoing, and we're visioning into a series of retreats, a few in the United States and at least one here in Brussels. And so what's your area of study at MIT?
No, so I'm studying electronics, exactly, electronics.
Wonderful. Are you familiar with?
I will ask you a question. Just is there any relation between LAD? Do you know LAD? I mean, LAD difference between LAD and game changer movement, virtual living room. I mean, is there any relation between these two?
I don't believe so. Tell me what you're asking. Like these initials that you're talking, like RAD?
RAD, yes, it's a system. It's an electronic system. Yeah.
No, like we're we met with someone who's distributing the Arduino, but we don't have much RAD. Can you tell me more what RAD means?
RAD is a system used exactly in phones like Apple, used by the society like Apple. It's an electronic system. It's very complicated, yes, because it's very. But what I can tell you is it's a high technology. It's a high technology. Yeah.
You're not talking about RFID. You're talking about
RAD. LAD.
I can't say I know that too well. I mean, so are you wanting to collaborate with? Oh, LED. Yes, sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Definitely.
Yes,
Thank you for clarifying.
I want to tell you something because I'm a new student here in America, and I don't speak English very well, so I'm getting used with English. So yes,
well,
because
I'll tell you.
Originally, I'm from Algeria, and then new student here in America. For that reason, I don't speak English very well. Yes, that's the reason.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm here in Europe, and I haven't spoken any of the languages very well, so I fully empathize with what it means to be sort of a stranger in a strange land. So we can be entirely patient. Maybe the best way to communicate would be on the side, so that we can share, but also kind of move on with the conversation. The topic of most of our conversation today is, hopefully, if more people want to talk about it, is how to engage youth in this conversation directly, because because that's where we're at. That's where the game changer movement is here, poised and ready to engage with the next generation right now. So if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, Mohammed?
I'm 24. Yes, 24.
Awesome.
I'm master two electronics. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Master. Yeah.
That is great. So
I'm about finishing my degrees.
And you're right at MIT, right in Cambridge?
Yeah, no, in MIT, exactly in the US, America.
Wonderful. Yeah, I lived in Somerville, New York for Somerville, Massachusetts for a few years.
Yes, I decided to finish my studies here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do you by any chance know a professor with the first name of Adrian?
Can you please repeat your question? I didn't hear you.
Sure. Like I'll just it's really interesting that you're at MIT right now. He designed a game called Fold It, and he's on your campus. And one of the games that have inspired me the most to understand that we are onto something is this game called Fold It, which basically helps the medical community just understand how HIV enters the bloodstream, and the gaming community literally helped science better understand HIV, and it was it basically created global attention when 350 to 400,000 gamers basically cracked the code of how to fold proteins in such a way that it could help science advance. So he might be a really good resource for you to look up. And if you wanna help us out, he's a very busy professor, as you might understand. And if you want to help create a link between yourself and the game changer movement, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. Because it seemed very interesting. Game changer movement. It seemed very interesting.
Well, thank you for saying that.
Please, can you just give me more information about game changer movement? Because I want to get more information about it.
Well,
when we use it, where we use this technology. Game changer movement. It's a video game, or something like that.
That's a great question. We're in the process of building the community, because what we want to do and we want to focus on is we want to create a series of retreats that invite youth into the conversation. And so we don't yet have the technology developed. We're going to be developing the process and the technology with youth in the next 9 months, or probably 11 months. And we hope to be able to produce something either tangible or downloadable by December 14th, which is the 4-year anniversary of the shootings at Sandy Hook Elementary School, which basically inspired the creation of this movement. So, it's conceivable that the events that I'm describing, weren't in your weren't current events where you were coming from, because this happened in Connecticut. But one of the things that inspires me about electronics is that we want to enter the the Internet of Things, and we want to explore a use of sensors so that youth who want to engage deeply in this movement are ready to share the data that they create, and then they can take charge of their own future or their own now, and that's just a really exciting part of this. So what specific, so you're studying LED? Are you oh wow, there's someone named Jim who's interested. Jim, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? And I'd love to continue with Mohammed too. So one of the things, the reason I'm doing a little bit more screening, I'm just going to be really transparent, is that we when we first learned about Blab, we started to accept anyone's call, and some wonderful. Alrighty, yeah, we're just going to have faith and let you on as well, Jim. So welcome to the Blab, Jim, and if you could introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? My name is Jim.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
Good, good. I'm sorry, for all this lighting, but I'm just relaxed. I had my exams today, so.
Understood. Where are you studying? Where are you studying?
England.
Awesome. Very awesome. At Cambridge or where?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Wow.
So how far along are you?
No, it's not cool because what I'm saying, like sometimes like law can be like too overwhelming, like in a point where you say I don't, we need to have a break, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't catch that.
So
What
he said law can be too overwhelming. We need to have a break.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what have you been following the Game Changer movement that long, or what are you up to?
No, I'm just high and I'm looking for company, to be honest. But I told you my real identity, but I can talk. If you keep me for this, you're fucking racist. I don't know.
Yeah, we're not really in the idea of just talking right now. We're trying to.
No, yeah, I want to see what are you saying. Go ahead.
Oh, sure. So
For one
we're-
question, is this your mother or cast or
this is my collaborator. This is Carol.
Good job. Let's go.
Yeah. So I would love to continue a conversation. Maybe we can talk a little bit more on the side. But it would like what we really want to talk about is how to engage youth in the Game Changer movement. And what that's all about is we want to inspire youth to trade in violent video games and to shift their perspective and to help us develop games that make a contribution to the planet. So do you have any words of wisdom on that?
Are you speaking to me?
Sure.
Why? No. The Muhammad talk. Let the other guy talk, please. I'm here.
Okay. Well, let me kind of, if you want to talk in the side, that would be great. But we have like 13 minutes left of what we want to contribute.
For what are you doing this? You have 3 viewers. What is the? Please explain. What are you doing?
Well, what we're doing is we're creating a.
Are you voting for Hillary Clinton or Bernie? I guess. And I bet that you vote for Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders.
I can't really hear you, but if you want to ask questions on the side, that would be awesome.
Guys, are you playing with me?
So and I don't like to be rude or exclusionary in any way, but I also want to keep on topic. So and I'm really interested. Yes, the 5D world is exactly what we want to learn more about, and thank you for adding all that insight. And it would be great to keep up with you offline after we end this conversation. I mean, please stay involved in the conversation, Mohammed. It's just that it's what you're learning is something that we would love to collaborate.
Just a minute, please. Just a minute.
Sure.
I will be back. Just a minute.
Wonderful. All righty. Well, in that minute, what we'll do is, maybe we can talk more about, maybe like a mother's perspective as to what we just did, and a global collaborator too.
So this past week we went to 5 different countries in 5 days or less, and everywhere we went, we engaged in conversations, and a lot of the conversations were with women who were mothers of kids, between 12 and 17, 18, that have sons that are engaged in violent video games. a lot of their free time. And we proposed our vision of changing this, and we got a lot of enthusiasm and blessings to go ahead with this initiative to change what the kids are playing with now.
Most definitely, and I feel like one of the definite yeses, and actually I feel like we can speak to this with confidence, is Carol and I went to this reception at the U.S. Embassy in Brussels last Tuesday night, so 6 days ago. And literally we had conversations with people who are global decision makers on lots of different things. And my lenses were expanded in so many different ways. So we met with an ambassador from Kenya, and he has a certain pathway in mind for how he wants to engage with us. And also, Carol started a conversation with a woman who has a sister who's changing the game and has been for decades, and doing art therapy and retreats and designing specific curriculums for kids who are not tuned in to the way education currently happens. And she specifically tunes into these kids and tracks their interest and designs curriculum, just to meet their needs. And it's so beautiful. It's like she has this customization process that's individualized, and it's beautiful. And I haven't even fully shared that update with Carol because it's so hot off the press. So it's very, very exciting. And she's out of Washington, DC. So once they literally shovel themselves out of snow, we're gonna find a way to meet in person. And I mean, the other part of this amazing story is that I was supposed to be on a plane home and driving from Philadelphia to New York today, and because of a technical, mechanical challenge with the plane, we got to expand into more, momentum, and so it just seems that every day that we get to, work together, just more openings happen. So I feel like we can just, share, so Tuesday was Brussels, and then we leave the U.S. Embassy and don't pass go. We go directly on a train that arrives in first in Germany. So I got to say that I drank a German beer and was in Germany while on this trip. But then the train dropped us off in Geneva, Switzerland, where we then found another train to
the World Wildlife Headquarters. And that's in Gland, Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. And there are so many beautiful initiatives there. So I mean, I want to just kind of let you know that we are now in expansion, but we're also in tremendous follow-up mode. So now it's time to take all the conversations that we had this past week and turn them into action. And one of the things that I've been seeing on Facebook is kind of thoughts without actions are they're beautiful. I mean, they're how things start. It's just that when you apply action to your dreams, it's a really beautiful pathway towards manifestation. So really excited about the energy of the conversation and all the different initiatives that are going on in the WWF. And I feel like this is one thing that we can say from a philosophical and an ideological perspective, is that we learned so much in about an hour and a half at the WWF that I get to take home to my community. And and it's just what I want to share is that I'm seeing a shift, like a sea change in how big service and global platforms are choosing to operate in the world. And what impressed me the most about the WWF was their promise of transparency, like of being fully transparent in the world. And that's really, really exciting. So all that being said, the WWF has been in some ways scrutinized for how they accept funds from companies that may not have the best reputations in the world. And what we actually learned is that they strategically choose to work with companies that don't have the best reputations in the world, because that's where they can affect more change. And that impressed me to the bone. It was a really beautiful sharing and learning, and just, when there's transparency, there's so much more room for collaboration and impact. So that was, I don't know, do you have any more to say about?
It's a perfect model to help shift, into a better way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, and it was like, we have a ways to go in terms of formalizing our process, but we actually want to model our process somewhat after theirs, in creating a forum for sponsors for the Game Changer movement, which we would love to receive right now. I've got a four question application form, if you will, where we want to ask companies, who they are, what's their game, how do they want to change it, and how do we hold them accountable? And accountability requires a certain amount of transparency, and that's really it's really amazing to see an organization like the WWF taking the lead and just boldly going out with transparency. And so we're really excited about that. Okay, so that was Tuesday into Wednesday. So let's just kind of like let it in and then let it out. So then Wednesday into Thursday. So Wednesday evening, we got on a train to Paris, and had a great meal with a great dear friend of Carol's and a new friend of mine, and it was just wonderful to live into my own. Like, I had one item remaining on my bucket list, which was to eat a croissant in Paris. And so by Thursday morning, I was able to check off my bucket list to the point where I now need a new bucket list, or just to live fully into every moment and just be in total gratitude for what shows up. So all that being said, then Thursday we had a meeting with a woman who creates amazing circles of women who share their success with the world and with each other, and redefine success along the way. And she's also connected in the philanthropic world with people, a former video game developer who made, let's just say, bazillions of dollars. He was listed as the 9th richest man in the world, not in the world, in Great Britain, in the UK. And he has since just let go of most of his worldly possessions. He's moved to the Philippines and married a Filipina, and he is now just sharing social innovation with the world via the Philippines. And so they've developed a line of products that we're going to look more deeply into called Human Nature. And what I'm assuming is that a certain portion of the proceeds of the sale of the products actually go to the entrepreneurs who may have been given microloans through all this work, to create all these essential oils and different, just really conscious products. And it's great to know that people are changing their own game in advance, and that we're getting introduced to these people all along the way. Yeah. So Okay, so that was Thursday. So Thursday we came home. We actually
Not very long.
we stayed in Brussels, and then Friday, really
Went to
early
London.
morning, we took another train to London, where we met with the founder of the Good Night Lamp. And just to give her a shout out, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she goes by Alex, and she created this amazing invention that helps people maintain their connection with family members or people that they care about. And it's all done without, words. And it's beautiful. And so it's this, like, there's this lamp that you can purchase and put it on your, your nightstand or your, dining room table. And it's got various lights on it, and you can hand out lights in, mini lamps, mini good night lamps to the people you care about. And say you've got a parent, which Alex did. She had a father that she was very concerned about, who had cancer. And I'm sharing that's the story because she's very public about it, and she designed this product, this beautiful invention to make sure that she stayed in touch with her father. And so basically, when he was ready for bed or available for a Skype call, he could just turn on the lamp that she gave him and let him know that, or let her know that she was ready, and or that he was going to bed. So, like, these are the amazing, this is a category of opportunity called the Internet of Things. And it's not even the tip of the iceberg in terms of what's possible with the Internet of Things. And we don't fully understand yet where the Internet of Things is going to interact with the game changer movement. And we have a huge sense that the Internet of Things will play a large role in the future of everything that we do. So with that said, it's a very exciting time. Okay, so that's London. And London has another story. So that was London on Friday. And then Saturday morning early, we woke up and we went to the PSA meeting, which is I guess I call it the National Speakers Association, NSA, which is what I belong to in the USA. And we got to connect with tons of very supportive individuals, including a woman who lives about an hour from Paris, and she does brain training, and she's also got children that she's concerned about, and she fully gets that we've got mirror neurons, that when we take in violence, we take in violence, I mean, even if it's just on a screen, we're taking that in. And she was very visceral. I mean, it was just like she was 100% another yes. So, I mean, we're already connected on LinkedIn, and she is, going to help us do fundraising events. She may eventually serve on an advisory board. So I guess, and there were just tons of other speakers who are holding the space for us to break through to the greatness of this movement, and to get out of our story and to just go for it, for lack of a better way of putting it. And so I just felt really empowered and encouraged. And I guess that's the point, is like sometimes even the encouragers on this planet need to go somewhere to fill their tanks. And so although I'm pleasantly tired right now, and I'm tired from a physical standpoint, and I'm recharged in a beautiful way from a mission and purpose standpoint, because there are clearly peace warriors out there who are living it, who are doing it, and who are holding the space with us. And so I feel really, really encouraged by what all this can mean. And I see that we actually have one person, watching us from, it looks like the UK, if I'm so. And if it is indeed Alex, thank you so much from the bottom of both of our hearts. We went to the restaurant that you recommended, and we had an amazing time. And the reason I'm sharing some of these details is that this is a very it's a beautiful personal mission, as global as we know we're going to go. It's a mission of people first. And I'm feeling the abundance in relationship and relatedness and connection. And I mean, I just bringing it back to Alex's, Goodnight Lamp. She's, she sees the opportunity that we do, which is that the internet has an opportunity to create silos and to create disconnect and distance, but it also has an amazing opportunity and the ability to bring us together. And so, she is leading the way by introducing this technology, and she's also really conscious because she's equally concerned about what happens when someone creates a wearable item that helps us work towards a New Year's resolution, and we purchase this wearable around holiday time, and we're done with our New Year's resolution around now, and then what? Where does it go? Does it go to a landfill? Is there a way to strategically and intentionally repurpose these things? So what I loved, about meeting with Alex is that we hit on so many different levels of understanding and alignment. And so, this is where I just want to, sing the praises of both Alex and Carol's mission, is to love people on this planet, but also to allow us to clean it up together and to more consciously consume and create plastics, and Carol is so well versed on all the alternatives that we can use as we manufacture more products, if indeed things need to be physical, and they don't always. They can be embedded into our phones, and but if we actually need to make physical products, then we can do that consciously. And that's why I'm so excited to have Carol as a counterpart, because she's not going to let me get away with producing something that isn't good for this planet and doesn't love the planet the way our values love the planet. And so do you want to speak to that a bit?
Well, where you were going with, our dear friend in England there, Alex, where she said that you have to repurpose, that's a whole nother part of the game too. And that's what we also need to think about as we create and as we create waste, is how do we manage it and what can we do with it?
And I mean, I feel like, just even the trip that Carol took on vacation, I mean, I think you learn so much about a person when they take time out of their vacation to pursue their passion. And so do you want to share a little bit about that? Yeah.
So we have an older daughter that lives in Tokyo, and we went over there for Christmas. And about a year ago, I looked up online this Japanese inventor who turns plastics back into fuel. And I didn't think about it much, but then when I realized we were going to go visit Zoe in Tokyo, I called the company and got in touch with them and got a wonderful meeting and instructional demonstration of this beautiful machine that can clean up all of the plastics that are filling our landfills and our ocean. And it can be transformed back into fuel that can be used, repurposed, and it stops the continual taking of the resources, as we already have some of these plastics just sitting around. We can transform them back. So it's quite we have to start thinking like this now. We can't just keep taking all this out of the earth without cleaning up what we have.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like the timing is so perfect because, you know, I mean, we have all these forces that are unleashing, you know, millions of gallons of oil, you know, onto this planet for financial purposes. And there's like politicize this and politicize that all over the place. And when you think about it on a conscious level, on a family by family level, mm-hmm. you know, the choices we make at home matter. You know, if we don't go to the gas pump, then not as much oil will be kind of drilled for, you know. And if we develop alternative energy supplies, you know, I'm really high on this stuff called graphene. And if you go out and invest in graphene and you make $1 gazillion, make sure you tithe 10% of it back to the Game Changer movement if you heard it here first. But this graphene stuff seems so clean and so readily available and so ripe for disruption. You know, there's talk that graphene can even disrupt solar if done well. So the truth is that, you know, we make all these assumptions and we get caught in these patterns that say, you know, I went to the gas station last week, I'll go again this week. And those patterns are just not true. They're actually, you know, reinforced lies. If we kind of go to the extreme. And so I feel like, you know, the underbelly of the Game Changer movement is to question all the beliefs that we have, you know, together, and mm-hmm. to keep on asking ourselves, as Byron Katie does, like, is this true? Is this really true? And to continue to refine, you know, to kind of borrow from the oil world, mm-hmm. Our way of being, and to constantly challenge our beliefs. And I feel like that leads to a few conversations that we had just yesterday. And I don't know how old he was, but
Toon, he's 17 years old.
So yeah, so thank you, Toon, for sharing an hour with me, with us, and I learned so much. And what I also learned is that we as parents have done an interesting job of reinforcing beliefs that have turned into truths, you know, for the next generation. And I'm excited because the conversation, you know, wasn't, you know, kind of all about right and wrong. And I didn't feel like I needed to convince him of things. We engaged in a really fruitful dialogue. And
Toon is a coder.
Yeah, so Toon currently makes games, you know, and is able to code things into reality, which is a skill set that I don't yet have, and I don't know if I want to have it. And it's important to just, you know, meet people where they are with the skill sets that they bring to the world from, you know, an inner guidance, you know, and that's my main belief, is that, you know, the one thing I love about meeting, you know, 17-year-olds who code is that something went right at home, you know, where Toon was allowed and supported in bringing his dream to the world. So, and I feel as though he's open to a dialogue about how to apply his dream to the world with us. And so we'll see where that conversation goes. We're optimistic, and the momentum is building, and everyone is supportive. We just we haven't formalized, you know, the roles that people are going to take on. But as this caravan continues to roll, it's just great to see feel so much support. That is, it's just time. So we do have a long road to go, and I want to share that I'm committed. You know, like I talk sometimes about you know, people can look at commitment as they look at bacon and eggs for breakfast, and like, you know, the chicken was involved, but the pig was committed. And, you know, I feel like, you know, I feel like in this analogy, I feel like the pig, you know, I'm committed, and and Carol's on board, and we're growing. You know, we've got collaborators in Alaska and Washington D.C. and I forgot to even kind of share the conversation we had with, and I'm gonna not get his name right. So
Thomas Hertog.
So you know that
he's the astrophysicist.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
So I mean, and all these people are they get it. Like, you know, they have children who play with the Arduino, and the Arduino is a product that Alex, you know, the woman we met with on Friday, she became the UK distributor for the Arduino, and the Arduino was developed by her professor, her graduate professor and or advisor. And so it's just, what I feel is that the world got really, really small this week, and it continues to get smaller and smaller every day. And hopefully soon there'll be an opportunity to meet with people in upper level philanthropy who can help guide us. Because I feel like, you know, it's sort of a blessing and a curse the way we're going into the world, because we don't have this, like, you know, polished proposal to hand to people for them to say yes or no to. We have just an inquisitive heart and mind, and we're just ready to have real conversations. And thanks to, you know, Carol's influence in the world and you know, and how her family operates in the world, there are so many doors that are opening and will open, you know, to expand this conversation. And, you know, just like parenting, like, there's no right and wrong way to parent. And we feel for each and every one of you out there who are doing the best you possibly can on any given day. And I have 3 amazing kids, and Carol has, yeah. So, and each child needs a different parent out of the same parents, you know. So like, my 3 kids need 3 different fathers out of the same guy. And it's a beautiful way to go into service and inquiry. And I guess what we're also noticing is that because we're not claiming to be really right, we're just opening the door to conversation, the door stays open longer, and the door opens wider rather than, you know, constricting. So so that's our report. If just keep growing. I see that we have at least 14 viewers. What we'll do is we'll eventually condense this into a YouTube that will then be posted on the Game Changer Movement Facebook presence, which is Game Changers Experience. It's facebook.com/Game Changers Experience, and you can find us there. And we also have GameChangerMovement.com, so you can learn about the contest that we're creating around the retreats that we're going to be holding the space for. So so be on the lookout for all that, and you know, please stay engaged on the side. It's so great to see, you know, a presence all over the world. I see people in Florida, it looks like, and I'm hoping to be on that side of the pond tomorrow, and if God intends it, that's where I'll be. I feel for all of you in the Northeast who saw way more white snow than I have on this side of the pond, but I will join you safely and sound hopefully tomorrow. And thank you all so much for joining, and thank you, Carol, for hosting me on this journey and for joining me on this journey, because being a stranger in a strange land, I wouldn't have been as brave as I would have needed to be to do this alone. Like, it just wouldn't have happened. So because this movement is growing, this was able to happen. So I'm just utterly grateful, because it's not even about my dream. It's like, the world wants this, the world needs this, and it's time. And so, and I feel like we are going to be able to change our game around violence and and plastic and the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's time. And so thank you all so much. And God willing, I will see you all on the other side of the pond next Monday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Alaska time, and 9:30 p.m. Brussels time. Thank you so much from Brussels.
Bye.
Bye-bye.